It's Unhinged with Brian Fuller. Tonight's guest, Marty, Agan, and Justin Ging from Samsung, and the infamous industry teardown. And now, the man who is currently dating Siri, and she can't understand a word he's saying, Brian Fuller.
Unhinged, we're back and taking on technology topics without fear or favor. I'm your host at bfuller9, and we've got a hashtag amazing lineup this segment. Here's what's ahead. Industry Gala, going up. The Pico Cam, the infamous teardown, and we'll show you how to make an indestructible image sensor. Now to the news. Take one. The EDA industry turned out in force recently for the 50th anniversary of the EDA Consortium. A who's who of engineers, executives, and luminaries cleaned up good and turned out to enjoy delicious food, good times, and to contribute to charity. And if you weren't there, can you guess who won lunch with Wally Rhines? Former Cadence CEO Joe Costello. I would love to be a fly on the wall at that Munch Fest. Anyway, there was one amazing moment that night that has gone stunningly, amazingly, mind-bendingly unreported by the electronics media. But we're breaking the story to you now without fear or favor. It constitutes the first ever confirmed sighting of a Yeti, or Bigfoot, or Sasquatch, or Bunmunchi, depending on where you live in the world. And it was captured by my colleague, Richard Gehring. Here is the first amazing, first ever photo. Stylish too, who knew? Okay, take two. If you follow the industry closely, you know that the scaling benefits of Moore's law appear to be slowing as we go below the 20 nanometer process node. And so to continue to improve integration and electronics design productivity, the industry's going vertical. It's early days, but the design methodologies and tools are starting to proliferate to tackle the new dimension. Recently, the European research group IMEC announced a breakthrough in 3D memory. IMEC and Exico, a semiconductor laser annealing company, successfully demonstrated the application of laser thermal anneal to boost the current in vertical polysilicon channel devices for 3D memory. This technique provides a way for higher stacking and therefore higher bit density in 3D memory. Now, what does it all mean? Well, it means that perhaps we might one day see memories just like these. Hashtag astonishing innovation ahead. Take three. Rick Merritt of EE Times reports that Rambus is developing a so-called Pico camera, a lens-free device significantly cheaper and smaller than today's tiniest imagers. According to Merritt, the technique requires significant computation to deliver an image. The company created an 80-micron diffractive grating from which it has constructed the image we're about to show you. How much computation power did it need? On the order of 350 million multiply accumulates. The company believes there's a significant market for thermal imaging applications. And if this photo is any indication, this is going to be a hot technology.
Hey Brian, Sean O Kane here with our Teardown series. I have my assistant, Lisa Warren-Plungy, who's going to destroy this mobile phone for us. She's going to get in this truck, and when I give her the signal, she's coming through. Let's see what happens. Ready to go. Lisa's in the truck. She's ready to go. She's going to barrel down here and destroy this phone. As soon as I give her the signal, I'll wind her up and bring her in. I'll give her the hand signal.
Hey, so the good news there is Sean survived that horrific crash. The bad news is that phone and its image sensor didn't. But here in studio, we've brought in a couple of really smart guys who are going to tell us exactly how a phone like that might survive, and more importantly, how to design some of the world's best image sensors today. So please welcome from Samsung, Justin Ging, Senior Marketing Manager, and on his right, Marty Agan, Director of Engineering, Samsung. Thanks for coming in, guys.
Thank you.
I know it wasn't a big drive. You're just down the street. But so you saw that, that near-death experience. and the sensor didn't survive. It was kind of bad. But these are integral parts of a phone today. Before we dive into that technology, Justin, why don't you tee up for us what's been going on in the image sensor market? You guys have been in it for over a decade.
One of the obvious things that people see is the resolution of cameras going up, smartphone cameras going from all the way from VGA all the way up to 13 and megapixels and more. So with that increase in resolution also comes pretty much the same size sensor. So pixels have gotten smaller, and the pixels have to be better, more sensitive in order to keep up the quality of the image. Also, sensors have become faster. So going from 15 frames per second to 30 frames per second enables you to have less shutter lag and enables you to have better quality video. And also power has been reduced over the years. So batteries last longer on your smartphones.
So one of the consequences of better sensor design over the last 10 years has been that better sensors in smartphones really cut the legs out of the still camera business, at least the low-end still camera business. So I want to know from you guys, because presumably you take some pictures, what was the tipping point when you threw away your old camera and decided to do most photos with a smartphone?
It was probably about 5 years ago. I stopped carrying around my digital SLR and switched over to using my smartphone, for basically taking, images I'm capturing every day. So I'm taking a lot more images, and the quality's gotten so good that I'm very happy with them. So I don't feel a need to dust off the digital SLR and bring it back out, hook it on my belt.
I know the interface in terms of getting photos on and off that, or at least off the SLR, can be a bit cumbersome, right? You take 5,000 photos in a couple hours, and then you have to edit them. But that's another segment for another day. Can you guys stick around? Fantastic, because I have a ton more questions about the Samsung image sensor technology. So once again, let's go back to Sean and see how a smartphone with an amazing camera sensor should be created.
Hey, Brian, as you can see, the phone didn't survive. This is not how to build a mobile device.
Hey Brian, I'm back again. This time I have a Samsung Galaxy. We're going to show the audience and you just how a cell phone, a mobile device, a smartphone with a great sensor should be built. So, Lisa's in the truck again, and when I give her the signal, she's gonna come barrel down. Hey, Bri, look at this. Not a scratch. And I feel better too. Back to you.
Thanks for joining us today. For Marty and Justin at Samsung, I'm Brian Fuller. And remember, for you geeks out there playing games in your cubes, foosball is a combination of soccer and shish kebabs. Out.